Thanks for stopping in. I haven't seen you in a little bit. Thank you, friend. It's Thursday. Welcome to Thursday. I can't remember, did I not do Thursday last week? Seems like I started on a bad trend of canceling a few live streams, and I was talking about it earlier. I suffer from depression and anxiety, borderline personality disorder, self-harm, so like suicidal ideations. This is all the stuff that goes on in my heads and stuff. And I always struggle at this time of the year, coming up on my 3-year anniversary of my official separation from my wife, which kind of also meant being with my kids on a daily basis. And even at 3 years, it's hard. It's hard to accept that this is where I'm at. Prev, dude, you stay as long as you can, and even just coming in and saying hello is always appreciated. That's the one cool thing about live streams is the people that you come across, and it's all good, especially if you did this. Because that is apparently likes help your stuff. So I did get a dislike today, but I'm not going to focus on that. I don't know why. I don't know who I made mad. I think it's because I don't know, maybe said somebody's name wrong. That's the struggle. I'm so bad at pronouncing people's names. Not really sure. Maybe I had a ninja troll. It is Thursday, so trolls come out of the woodwork and try to attack me in Asgard, right? Because they want this. They want what I have. They can't have it, because I got it. I'm the only one worthy. Maybe. So we're coming up on the weekend. I'm so excited. So excited. Feel good. I got out of my funk that I was in. It kind of started over the weekend, and then Monday and Tuesday were just brutal days. And Monday, I got out of work. I was so emotionally wrecked that I stopped and treated myself to Wendy's. And sometimes just treating yourself to like something you don't get very often can kind of help get you out of a little funk. And there was nobody there except for this little girl and her grandfather. And I thought, so how often can you go to a Wendy's at 4 o'clock in the city that I live and have the whole restaurant to yourself? And little girl and her grandfather are having this conversation. I sat away from them, but the little girl was pretty loud. I mean, she was like 7, and you couldn't help but listen in. I wasn't purposefully eavesdropping, but she was talking so loud. And then it dawned on me that she was talking to her grandfather about having to choose which one of her parents she was going to live with, her mother or her father, or she was trying to do the math with her dad, with her grandfather, about how she could stay with her dad. And she just kept talking about how her dad was going to take her to the beach, her dad was going to buy her a bike. And I was already so emotionally wrecked because of this time of the year is when I moved out of my house with my wife and kids, and I left. And I mean, I talk to my kids every day, but like I still, in the back of my head, I have that guilt from leaving. And man, just hearing that little girl, I actually started crying at Wendy's. And I just had to leave. Thankfully, I was like almost done with my food, and I just got up, and you know, my heart was with that poor girl. She was trying to make the best of the situation. Hey Susie, thanks for coming to Thursday. Welcome to Asgard, or Valhalla, or whatever I called it. Valhalla is what was in the title. So, tough times. Mental health is a tricky thing. I'm learning how to handle it though. Definitely learning how to handle it. every day is a new experience for that. So what else is going on? We're up to 20 likes. Thank you. Susie, you must have been number 20. That's outstanding. Outstanding. And like I was saying earlier, this is probably a 3-day weekend coming up for a lot of people. I know for sure probably the schools in this area and the banks will all be closed because of Memorial Day. That's this weekend, right? Isn't the 20... Let me check the 27th. Yeah. This is my official JLA member calendar of events. That's how I keep track of what I've done and what I'm doing. I have to write everything down. I have index cards with all my notes, because if I tried to remember off the top of my head, like stuff to talk about, oof, we'd be in trouble. This stream would have already been done, would have been over so quickly. Would have been really over. But I hope everybody's doing good. I mean, the weather is starting to hit that summer. I think Memorial Day, they call that the unofficial start of summer. I think there's the summer solstice, right? That's the official start of summer. That comes after Memorial Day. But I know in retail, like I work at Walmart, we consider Memorial Day that's the push. So I know, and I live in the city, so when you have a holiday like Memorial Day in the city, everybody kind of goes crazy. And Walmart and some other places will start selling fireworks. So you put the combination of like cheap beer, close streets in the city like I live in, and fireworks together. It always makes for a very loud, interesting weekend. And it's unfortunate that some people will make bad decisions. We, in our city just last night, we had 2 more shootings and a stabbing not too far from where I work. And lately the shootings have been kids being hit by stray bullets. Like they're not the intended targets, but like a 13-year-old girl got shot. You know, and they never can find these people that are doing it, because unfortunately they're like drive-by shootings or whatever else, and it takes them forever to find out who did the shootings. It is crazy. It is crazy. But in answer to your question, how's it going? It's going very well. Today is Thursday. I had a great day at work. A huge, significant difference in my workday today compared to my workday Monday and Tuesday. And I really think it had a lot to do with being able to take Wednesday off and kind of reset, refocus, recalibrate, reboot, whatever else I did. So it's going really good. I think I'm mentally set up to have a great weekend. And for me, you know, I take it one day at a time a lot of times. Like I showed that calendar, and I have my calendar of events. But 8 months ago, maybe, or around 8 months ago, I would never have been able to put together a calendar of future events, because I was very certain that at any given day that would be the last one. And I lived that way for a couple of years, where every day in my head was potentially the last day. And I don't feel that way anymore, so I've come a long way, and YouTube has helped with that. My kids have definitely helped with that. I have some awesome friends. I have 2 or 3 very close, awesome friends. And that's what I've needed, so that's cool. And I got my squirrel Trevor that comes to the window. That's a big thing. I'm stuck at this apartment. Like, my apartment is so small. I'm gonna show you guys my apartment if you haven't been here before. So this is a studio apartment. That's it. that red curtain right there, that's a doorway to the like kitchen bathroom. Like you can cook and go pee at the same time. It's really small. And I put that curtain there so that when I turn the air conditioner on, it cools this area that I'm mainly in faster, and that's why that curtain's there. It's not normally there during the winter, but that's it. That chair there was that's the chair I sleep in. I sleep in a recliner, and that's it. I did order a futon though. Nomadic Bike, I thank you for saying that. And you know, I don't know, you're a very modest guy, but when I was saying earlier, like I go to your stream, and this is not intended to put pressure on you either, but you know, just going into a stream and just having a regular conversation with a regular guy, it makes a world of difference, because I was so, like, my depression created in a mental environment where I just was very closed in, and I would sit in the dark, not watch TV, definitely not watch the news. YouTube, it wasn't a thing for me. But man, since I've gotten on YouTube and I've gone into people's live streams, like, it's such a cool thing. It's really helped. Talking, it's cliche, because I've been to so many depression counseling therapy sessions. I've been in group therapy sessions. I've been placed under mental health arrest and put in the hospital. I think for one stretch was 12 days long, and then I had to go to follow-up therapy after that. You know, they say talking about it helps. And when you're in that spot, you're like, I don't want to talk to anybody. That's the problem. I don't want to talk. But it does help. It helps. So I will acknowledge that those therapists and counselors knew something they were talking about. And when you talk about your mental health, it kind of removes the stigma. It has created a less pressure on myself to try to hide it. So I'm not always focused on making sure that I'm not showing that I'm depressed. People know about it, so therefore when I am that way, they're more supportive. It's a big circle of life. Not quite a circle of life, but I think you get what I'm saying. Yeah, I've seen your place, Nomadic Bike. I definitely have. That's a fantastic lifestyle though too. I mean, you're doing your thing. That's the best any of us can do, is you got to find that thing and do it. And when you find it and it's in you and it's what's making you live, yeah, definitely good. Yeah, I'm glad you came in, because it's hard to give you that compliment in your live stream, because there's a lot of other things going on. Like, I have 8 people. You have 3 times that in your chat sometimes, and I don't know. I actually was, when I was in your stream earlier today, I'm like, I should reach out to him on one of the other social medias and leave a message or something. And then here you are. So you saved me a trip to the email box, or whatever, the Twitter tweet or whatever. I don't know. I didn't want to like have it out there for everybody to hear, even though I just said it out to everybody. Yeah, shyness, that can, you know, the fear that's associated with shyness, like people kind of like consider shyness as just like a thing, like, oh, she's just shy. But there's in your head, you're like, I'm shy, and you know the reasons why you're shy. It's because you're self-conscious about your voice, you're self-conscious about the color of your hair, the color of your eyes, you're self-conscious about the shirt you're wearing or whatever. But when you start chipping away at those in your head and your thought process, and then YouTube is a great place, and this is another cliche therapy thing, but like you can find so many other people that have similar experiences and similar stories, and like I'm drawn to those chats that make me feel like I'm in a safe place. I go to some of the chats and live streams that are overwhelming because I have a goal to go to them to maybe get support for my channel. I want to get some subscribers, so I go to those very high concentrated active chats, but I can't really stay in them for very long because I get overwhelmed. But then on the flip side, you find other chats and other people's vlogs or videos that have such similar stories, and then you get that sense of I'm not alone. And I know that that's cliche because they, you know, in therapy they tell you, well, you're not alone. You're not alone. And so you're not. We're not alone. And for a very long, it takes so long to get to that realization. Like, it's not something that they say to you and then it clicks. Maybe it does. If you're one of those lucky people, then that's awesome. It took me a couple of years before I, let that click in. Now, the one thing I wish I would do better at, I still do this every once in a while. I'll get into a depressive episode and the mind starts reversing everything that I've learned about how to keep myself from being depressed. And I throw stuff away. Like, I throw stuff away. I throw clothes away. I throw personal belongings away. I give away or donate like furniture and things because I'm subconsciously cleaning out. I don't want somebody to have to come in and pick up all my stuff if I'm no longer here. So I go through this little phase of cleaning house, so to speak. But then, like, I sleep in a recliner. Like, I just showed that recliner. I've lived in this apartment for 3 years. I've had 3 beds. And I threw away 3 beds. Donated, put to the curb 3 times, 3 beds. And that's expensive, and it's difficult to move furniture like that. I'm actually about to go onto my 4th bed thing. I'm getting a futon this time so I can use it more as a couch and then a bed type situation. Hopefully I will not fall into that depressive thing where I throw stuff out. But I've thrown away a lot of personal stuff. I used to do a cable access show in the 1990s, and I had stacks of videos, and there's some videos on my channel from those days. I was looking for them just this past weekend. It was another part of what triggered my slight depressive episode. I realized I threw them all out. I was cleaning out and I threw those away. And I don't even remember when. I just know that I did because I don't have them. And I did have them. You're feeling pretty depressed and you haven't done your live streams all week. Yeah, I canceled my Monday and Tuesday night live streams because I just wasn't going to be able to keep a conversation going or even look at myself in the camera like that. You know, you see yourself when you're doing the live streams. And I wasn't going to be able to do that. I don't know if my camera was just shaking. Somebody must have just left me a voicemail. So I think I'm going to be researching a better camera setup with a higher megapixel. I think my front-facing camera on this Samsung S8 is only a 5 megapixel. I'm not a techie guy, so I'm not really sure. But there's one that I can buy for $100 that has a 13 megapixel. So that's almost 3 times the amount of megapixels. So I'm hoping, because like when I watch my YouTube channel's videos, when I live stream, I'm always like, the focus goes in and out. And I know, like, when you do stuff like that, it creates the camera to try to pull in and out. I'm just not, you're just in too much pain to sit in a chair and live stream at the moment, but hey, yeah, I know, Pierre. That's another part if I don't show them every day, yeah. And then I feel guilty when I don't do them because I've put a commitment out. When I decided to go kind of, I don't want to say hardcore, but when I decided to be a YouTuber, like I've had the channel for 12 years, but I've only recently become a YouTuber. Like I made a commitment to myself to like do it as a hobby for as long as I'm enjoying it. And when I start feeling overwhelmed with that I'm putting too much pressure to put out video content or to maintain live streams, or I was too focused on subscriber counts or watch hours, that it started to take away from what it's giving me right now, which is I'm enjoying YouTube a lot. And if I start losing that feeling, then I'm gonna dial it back. I'm gonna cut the amount of live streams I do maybe down or whatever. It's such a great release of my creativity that I have just that's in me. Like creative juices get flowing and you write down, like I have note cards of ideas like crazy all over the place, like of just ideas of stuff I want to do, and you know, not overwhelming amount, but just it's a creativity outlet, and that definitely helps. Yeah, that's how I get Nomadic Bike. Yeah, I don't want to talk to people, I don't want to like be around. And the hard part when you're depressed and you have to go work, like the hardest part for me, and this was happening in my marriage too, like when you're around people that don't understand depression because they only know like the general social concept of what depression is. So they'll say like, oh, it'll get better tomorrow, or it's a Monday, you're just having a Monday, or just smile. If you smile, it'll go away, or look at the bright side. And the worst question for 3 years, the most dreaded thing anyone could ask me was, hey, how you doing today? That's a normal social greeting, right? How you doing? Hey, how you doing? How you doing? It just, because one, I know it's a social greeting, so there's not always a genuine, how are you doing today? Are you feeling okay? Like, are you okay? Like, that's not what's being asked. It's just in passing, it's like saying, hi. But instead people say, how are you doing? They don't care what the answer is, because they've just been polite to you and made a greeting. And everybody does it. We all do it. We all do it. I'm not talking badly about people that do it. But like for me, it was a trigger. I'm not saying it is for anybody with depression, but for me personally, because it was my cue to, I have to smile. I have to say a fake, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How are you? And one, I wasn't doing good. And two, I didn't care how they were because I didn't care how I was. So like that to me was a trigger. I don't know. Susie, have a good night. I'm sorry if I talked you out of the chat. If you've got other stuff going on, that's awesome. Thank you for being here. Yeah, hashtag just live. That was a big part of you know, daily life is just that. And people, when people from work or wherever heard that I was in the hospital for depression or for a suicide attempt, they were just like, what? That guy is so funny. He's always joking around in the break room. They're like, no, that can't be. And it's because you just develop this second persona. It's like you become like the best actor in the world. You go to work, or you go to wherever you are, you go to church, you go to work, you go out to eat, and you become like, okay, I'm Jim the husband, Jim the father at this moment. I'm Jim the hard worker at this moment. But inside you're just like, ugh. You're just cringing, like, and it makes the day very long. It makes it so long. I have never thought about that, but I can see how that would be a trigger. And yeah, I'm not saying it is for everybody. I'm talking about my own personal experience. So I'm not saying, like, if you're the type that says that and you're genuine, like, how are you doing? Like that keep doing it. Don't change a habit or whatever. I'm just talking about for me personally, because it was just that mental cue. Like, I have to not look depressed, or I have to not answer how I want to. I can't say, when somebody says, hey, how you doing? And you want to say, I'm dying right now inside. I'm dying. It's everything I can take not to cry. If I had $1, if I got paid overtime for the amount of crying I've done this past year at my job, holy crap, I could retire. I'm really lucky. Walmart is what it is, and there's 400 something people that work at my store, and you kind of get into these little groups of people that you work with based on the shift that you work with. And I live in a city that is really, really rough. But I gotta tell you, my coworkers, they're awesome. They are so awesome. I'm really lucky. I'm so lucky that I have the people that I work with, because they've seen me cry. They've seen me have to leave for the day from work midway through the day. And I've never caught wind of anybody that was talking about me, or, I don't know. Like, it's just hard to explain. I'm just very lucky to work in the store that I do. Yeah. Yep. So it's funny that you should say normal day, Pure, because that's another thing, like people will say, and a lot of it has to do with just people not really understanding depression, like how it affects you when you're depressed or you have suicidal ideations, or and suicidal ideations are different than thinking about committing suicide. Suicidal ideations are the thoughts of, my family would be better off if I wasn't here, or things would be better if I wasn't here. Like, you're not actually thought process of, this is how I'm going to commit suicide. You're thinking, like, just things would be better if I wasn't here. So when I say suicidal ideations, I don't want to red flag anyone. But, people that are trying to help or trying to understand will say, well, you know what, you got to get through this and things will get back to normal. Things will be normal again. And, like, that's different for everybody. Jen has a different normal. Pure, you have a different normal. Nomadic Bike, you have a different normal. My normal is different. And my normal may not seem like it's normal to somebody who's not going through what I'm going through. So I hope I'm not losing you on this train of thought. But Nomadic Bike's normal may include some moments of hurt through his day. Mental hurt, physical hurt from body pain, whatever. And that might be his normal. And then when he's not feeling that normal, which to somebody else might not sound very fun, but it's his normal that he's used to. When you get below that normal, then that's when it's bad. So when someone says, oh, things will get back to normal, their intent behind that is that you're gonna be like 100% happy and pain-free. But for a lot of us, there is not a 100% happy and pain-free normal anymore. And so, like, right now, I'm right at this moment feeling very good. And very good to me is awesome. It might even be above my normal. So I'm happy that I'm having a moment where I can say I feel better than my normal. Often. I got shut down and then it came back all on its own. YouTube, I think it's because I said the word suicide, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm red flagging someone. So I don't know if you're all still here. I showed that my stream died and it looks like it came back. I don't know. So okay, Pure commented, so I must not have been gone for too long. Did you guys lose the stream? Because it shut right down on me. The Streamlabs, I don't know if it's YouTube or if it's Streamlabs, but everything shut off. And as I was gonna reach for the button to restart it, it started on its own. So it's because it's getting deep on Thor's Day. This isn't normally, there, see, it's not normally my topic, but I just feel like I needed for myself to talk this all out loud. To be able to get through those past couple of days. Just for a slight moment. Okay. Thought they were shutting me down. For a brief flicker. Okay. I can handle the occasional brief flicker. It's when you get that stream that just, it's the fingers. Thanos comes and he goes into the YouTube headquarters and Thanos goes, we have to have balance. And half the YouTube